Hello, welcome to another ExamPadi English lesson. Today, we're going to be learning about autobiographies. Here are the objectives for today's class. 1. Define autobiographies and non-fiction. 2. Examine the various features of autobiographies. 3. Create an outline to highlight for an autobiography. 4. Write your own autobiography based on the outline created. What exactly is an autobiography? This is a non-fictional piece of writing whereby the writer, which is you, gives a chronological account of their personal life. Non-fiction is when a piece is completely informative, factual, and not made up. Have you ever wanted to write an autobiography of your own? That sounds very interesting, right? The word auto means self, and autobiographies are written in the first person. Common words used in the first person are I, me, my, we, our, and us. These singular and plural pronouns will be used to shape your writing. With that, here are some common features of autobiographies. 1. Autobiographies are meant to serve a purpose. The whole point of an autobiography is to give a recount of your life from the time you were young up until now. You can outline personal information such as your full name, date of birth, country of birth, and current place of residence. Autobiography should be written in chronological order. When written chronologically, it is written sequentially. For example, you can highlight your early school days, the different schools you've been to, and awards and accomplishments you've received. This can be done through the use of connectives and conjunctions. Autobiographies are mostly written in past tense, and they mostly show the most important parts of a person's life. For example, if you have consecutively been the overall best in your year, or you were once bullied in school, that may be a point to put in your autobiography. Next, autobiographies may have dates to try to recall specific events that seem to be very important. Since you're writing about yourself and your life, autobiographies are probably one of the easiest forms of writing at this level. Let's look at an outline which should help you structure and plan your autobiography into paragraphs. The title: Be as creative as possible. For example, the life of your name, exploring the name's life. Paragraph 1. List your full name, place of birth, and date of birth. Briefly talk about your nuclear family, your best friend if you have one, and your brief family history. In paragraph 2, write about your schools as well as your childhood. Was it a good or bad childhood? Did you like your childhood? What were some of your hobbies? What kind of things interested you? In paragraph 3, talk about your personality. Write on your current view and perspective of life and where you hope to see yourself in the future. Here is a checklist to use when examining the features of an autobiography. Have I used an interesting opening statement or introduction? Have I written in the first person using I or me? Have I written in chronological order with time connectives? Have I written in the past tense? Have I referred to named individuals and places? Have I used dates for specific events? Have I included early memories and influences? Have I included beliefs and values? Have I included emotions and opinions? Have I included achievements? Have I reflected on events in a conclusion? Have I written my ending in the present and/or future tense? Have I included hopes and plans for the future? Now, we'll be looking at the short version of Roald Dahl's autobiography. Roald Dahl, this is my life story. I was born in Wales on 13 September 1916 to Norwegian parents. My father died when I was 3 years old and I was raised by my mother. As a pupil, I had a fairly unhappy time at boarding school, which provided some of the inspiration for my later stories. After leaving school, I worked for the Shell Oil Company based in Africa until the outbreak of the World War II, when I signed up with the Royal Air Force. Unfortunately, I was injured in action and eventually returned home as an invalid. Shortly afterwards, I was sent to Washington, D.C. to work as an attaché, where almost by accident, I started my writing career. When I was interviewed for an article about my time in action, I offered to write about my experiences. My piece was published in the Saturday Evening Post, who signed me up to write more articles. In 1943, I wrote my first children's book, The Gremlins, which was originally intended to be made into an animated film by Walt Disney. The film was not made, and instead, I turned to writing adult fiction, not writing another children's story until the 1960s. By this time, I was a father myself and had started making up stories to entertain my own children. From this came the stories of James and the Giant Peach and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I went on to write 21 children's books, including Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, The BFG, Matilda, and The Witches, all of which have been made into films. Here's a task to try out. Write an autobiography of your own. Here are some points to mention when writing your autobiography. When and where you were born, your family, where you started school, how you made new friends, your new experiences and feelings related to these experiences, and people who have influenced you. Remember, write in chronological order. Thank you so much for learning about autobiographies with me. See you in our next lesson. Goodbye.